hello. Shavua Tov. Woo! Happy weekend. I hope you had a beautiful Shabbat. I hope you had a beautiful weekend. For those of you who don't keep Shabbos, I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited that you're on here. Hello. Hi. I'm going to jump right into it. And this is going to be safe for anybody who's curious about what I'm going to be sharing about tonight. So, I'm so excited. Thank you for joining me. For those who don't know me, although you probably do, if you're on here, unless this is being shared around, my name is Chaya. I am co-owner of The Frock. Simi and I, my sister and I, are partners here at The Frock. But I'm talking tonight about something completely different and not about The Frock. And I'm talking about a new side endeavor that I am embarking on with two friends of mine. And I'm going to bring them on very shortly and introduce you to them. And that is going to be as well as continuing this business here at The Frock. But that I'm very excited to tell you all about it. And thank you for joining. And thank you for watching, those of you who are going to see this later. Creating a girls' high school in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. I'm not going to tell you any more details because I'm very excited to bring on DL, my friend, and Rifki, my other friend. And we're going to jump right into it. Okay. I have others requesting to join. Let's find the people that we need. Let's get Rifki at the school. So excited to tell you about it. I'm looking for DL. Let's find her. Hello. Hi, Rifki. Are you there? Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
How's it going?
Exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. We're going to wait a couple moments. Hopefully DL is going to join us. I'm sure she will.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm going to invite her again. Do you want to tell us who you are? Because I did not introduce you at all.
Okay. All right. My name is Rifki Goldstein. I am a mother of 7 living in Crown Heights. And I'm also a parent, coach, and educator. And I'm really just passionate about bringing joy back into parenting, bringing understanding and compassion. And I also, in addition to that, I homeschool my children. And I don't know how much you want me to introduce at this point, but that's
great.
Is that good for now? I'll wait for DL.
Devorah Lazelle's not able to join.
Oh,
yes. Never mind. Okay, the three of us are here. Welcome, Devorah, or DL. I'm going to call you DL because that's how I call you. Rifki just briefly introduced herself and actually wasn't even listening, but thank you because I was trying to multitask and get Devorah on the live. Devorah, DL, thank you for joining us. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are?
Hi, everyone. My name is DL. I am a friend to these beautiful women, and I'm so excited to join you guys and talk about what we're creating.
Likewise. DL, your service, your Wi-Fi maybe is a little bit choppy because it was not super clear to hear you.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, you're maybe a tiny bit
delayed. I went off of Wi-Fi, so I think it should be better.
That's better. That is better.
That's good.
That is
good. It's good.
Okay. So I would love to jump right into it and share what we're doing here tonight, why we're going live, and what's happening. What are we doing? So who would like to start?
Okay, how about we say, well, you guys both have girls who have not been in school, you're creating the school for. So maybe start with Chaya. Do you want to start with telling us about your experience with your daughter?
Sure, I guess I'll start. Hi guys. So I have a almost 15-year-old daughter. Wow, this is so interesting to do this. I've shared this before, in a smaller setting, but it's so interesting to do this on a live. And now I'm thinking about this being shared around even more. So it's I'm more inhibited. It's interesting just to notice that. Yeah. So some of you guys know I have a daughter. Her name is Vivi. She's 14 and a half. She is in ninth, well, just completed the year of the ninth grade, which she would have been in. She was in a small girls' school in Crown Heights from fourth to eighth grade, graduated last year, and then she went to high school in a bigger school in Crown Heights. And at first we thought it would be a good fit, and she did too, and she was very excited to get started there. And as the couple weeks and months went by, she was really, really, really struggling in the new environment. It was very, very big. It was very overwhelming. She was behind in a lot of her subjects because she came from such a different type of school. Um, Even though she's outgoing and vivacious and confident and very bright, it just didn't work for her. She really, really struggled. The school was really lovely, and they tried to help her out in so many ways to like get her tutors and P3s. And I think it was a combination of, you know, a lot of students, a different environment, more rigorous hours, um, so many classes that she was behind on, or that she just didn't feel connected to, and she just overall felt very overwhelmed, stuck, lost. And it got to a point, and it was around December time, where she's just like, I can't do this anymore. And she did warn us, like, it wasn't just like overnight, but I didn't think that those warnings were actually going to actualize into her like saying, I can't be in this school anymore. I thought she would like just make it through to the end of the year while we start like looking out for new schools. But she was strong in her conviction, and she's like, I'm not going anymore. I really can't. So she left around December time, and then we spent the next couple of months trying out a few schools here and there for a day or two. I think it was very challenging for her to join somewhere new in the middle of the year, and we didn't really find something that was a good fit for her. So we traveled to Florida, and we spoke to schools in different communities out of New York City. At first, I was like, there's no way I'm sending her out of town. Not a chance she's moving. Like, she's 14. But then as I realized that there's no schools in New York that's the right fit for her, I was like, for sure, she's going to school. She's going to go to school out of town. But then we did, the research and the calls, and then she's like, I really don't want to be away from you guys. I don't want to be so far. And it just wasn't really, for many different reasons in many different schools. One, there was no space. One wasn't for her. One was a maybe for her. Like, there was a million. And I don't know, it started to get to a point for me. I'm like, what is happening? I started to have these ideas and these visions of like starting something that I could imagine be a beautiful place for her. And as those thoughts came to me, I'm like, there's no way. I'm not starting a school. I have plenty on my plate. I am really excited to rebuild my business this fall, and that's what I'll be focusing on. I'm not doing it. But the voice definitely came back a couple times. And then I have known Rifki for a few months. And then Rifki reached out. We actually met. We were in the car driving together after a writing workshop from DL. And she asked me, do you want to start something for our daughters? And my big answer was a loud yell, no. But then I said, I'll think about it overnight, and we'll speak to you tomorrow. Should I keep going on this story? Or should I finish it to where we got? Okay. Because I want to give you guys time too. Okay, so Rifki's like, do you want to start something? And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. I had the same idea, but no. Anyways, I said I'll get back to her. A couple days later, I met up with DL for coffee, and I told her about my vision and the fact that Rifki had reached out with a similar vision, I think, or just knowing her, I figured it'd be something to talk about. And she was like, yes, you got to. I want to join you, and I want to help. Or I want to come to the first meeting. I didn't even know what that meant. I wanted, like, I'll be there. So the three of us got together, and then slowly but surely, we've been creating something very magical. That's a little bit about my story and where we've got to today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The things that stood out for me was when you said, when your daughter Vivi was like strong in her conviction. I think you used words like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like those words. I'm like, imagine she wasn't strong in her conviction. And imagine all the girls who are in schools that are not working for them, and they're not strong enough to be like, I'm not going back to school because their parents threatened them, because they're afraid of looking bad or sticking out, or like, wanting to fit in and just be normal it's such a huge aspect of this. And to be able to say, this is not working, I'm not going back, in a way could be like, oh, one parent could be like, oh my God, this child is so difficult, and like punish them for it or ground them for it. And the fact that she was able to be so strong in that, but also for you to be able to see that and acknowledge that and be like, okay, like I recognize that something's not working and we're going to figure this out and I got you. So I commend you for that. And
really difficult.
yeah. And so I was just smiling when the time we first met, we met at like the coffee and you were telling me about the first time you mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally sounded like such a calling that was like being called to you. And I was telling you, it's like the hero's journey where the hero is given this, like, there is this problem, there's this thing that needs to be tended to. And the hero says, no, I'm not doing it, but it keeps coming back. And it's something that it won't quiet until you listen.
Mm-hmm.
And something that you said yes to. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Yeah.
You also have a daughter. Do you want to tell us about her?
Yeah, sure. It's like mirror stories in a way. Can you hear me? Am I clear?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
The camera is for Claire, but we hear you, Claire.
Okay, fine. So basically, really, I feel like my story starts way back, in a sense, when I started to have children. And as I was raising my children, initially I was raising them like very authoritarian, very strict, a lot of controlling, kind of parenting. And when my children got a little bit older and I was finally able to make the changes that I wanted to make, and all these things came together at once, where I was becoming a kinder parent, and my children were starting to really show me that they did not want to go to school, that school was not for them, at least the schools that were available to us. And at the same time, in addition to that, as I was becoming a kinder parent, I personally was becoming more uncomfortable with a lot of things that I was hearing about and a lot of things that were happening. So although I didn't know where we were going to go from there, I just knew that I did want to, I wanted to find something else for them. And for a while, there was like this uncertainty of what will be, until I personally chose to learn about homeschooling, which is something I was always drawn to, but I always felt like it was too taboo, and I didn't know anyone who does it. And so I just kind of had that fear around it. But once I learned about it, I felt like I was able to jump into that. And so we did. As a family, we jumped into homeschooling, and I homeschool my children, and I absolutely love it. I think it's wonderful. That being said, my oldest daughter, Shayna, is 15. And even though she has developed so much as an individual, someone had said to her recently, something like, wow, you're so self-aware. And she shared this with me, and she said, yeah, because she said to them, because I had this time at home to discover who I am, to know who I am. And she shared this with me, and she says to me, thank you. And it was really special. And it's been an amazing, amazing time for her to have this time. I'm so happy for her. And she really wants more friends. She wants to learn more. She wants learning that is meaningful and purposeful and relevant. And I was sitting with her Friday night, it must have been 4 or 5 weeks ago, and we're talking about this. And suddenly I was like, wait a minute. What if me and Chaya, we make something for you girls, we make something that will work for you, what you're looking for. And I was all excited, and in a dinner, all excited. It was late at night, sometimes late at night, ideas become all vivid. And the next morning when I woke up, I was just like you said, I was no, why did I think of it? Because now that I thought of it, I felt a sense of responsibility to see, to at least try to see it through. So I kind of felt that same fear the next few days, no, oh my gosh, no, am I really going to do this? But I knew I was going to do it. And yeah, that's when I brought it up to you a few days later, and here we are. What is it, several meetings later, several weeks later, and we've come up with a beautiful, beautiful vision. I mean, it's the school that I would want for every girl, every teenage girl to be able to participate in.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Thank you. The words that stuck out for me are like, you were like a kind mother. And really what I hear is like, you really attuned also, like you attuned to your daughter to like what wasn't working and really listen to her. And it's just something that we should all like really learn from, like just listening to your child, what works, what doesn't work. And I was speaking to a mom who was interested in the school, and she's like, it's so hard sometimes to listen to our children, what they need, because there's no alternative. Like when our children are telling you something doesn't work, but if we don't have something else to offer them, and something of like what I was describing to her, she's like, this sounds incredible, but I can't even imagine that this could exist. So even if we listen, it's like, but what's the alternative?
Right.
So really something that to really think so outside the box and be like, if this doesn't exist and it's not working, then I have to make it work and I need to create it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mm.
So I'll jump in. So I don't have any daughters, unlike you. I have sons. My sons have gone through the system, are still in the system. I wish there was something like this for them. But this situation came up and this opportunity came up, and I said yes to it because I am very passionate about this. I've been feeling for a long time a lot of grief around the school system. I've spoken about it. I've shared on Instagram about it. And I hear from my son where he complains, like, I feel like this is a prison. He needs to like raise his hand to go to the bathroom, and then he can't even use the bathroom because then his teacher thinks he punishes him or takes away, and like all of these things. And it really just all of the parts of how the system is, where I feel I see my children going in one way and they're so vivacious and alive, and I see a little by little, like a little bit of that, like creativity and like freshness, and it's kind of gets like suppressed now, and it's so difficult because there's really nothing else available for them. And when I think of like a school, like what I've always envisioned and what I've always wanted is, because in some ways the way the school system is right now is that it's almost like a holding ground for children to go into, to come out the other end, and then kind of start their life, or then figure out who they are or what they need, what they want to create in this world. For the most part, like that's not what the school system, it's a holding ground, but these years are like such pivotal years, like the years of growing up, of childhood, of adolescence, to really develop the child so that when they come out, they're on the other end, so they can be a mature adult and like move into the world in a way where they know who they are, they know what they want to create for themselves and for the world in a way that feels like purposeful and satisfying. And really like a school system where it's you know like the regular way that it is, it really creates the opportunity for them afterwards only really to go into like a 9-to-5 job, which could also be like soul sucking for them, where they're just like, I'm going to give myself over to this system, from one system to another system, but none of it is really like honoring the whole child and really giving the child the opportunity to really learn about who they are, what their gifts are, how to operate in the bigger world, how to communicate, how to deal with conflict, how to be in relationships, something that is never ever taught in the school system generally. So I feel so passionate that there are girls who are saying no, like this doesn't work for me. I'm so proud of them, and so proud of these parents who are like, let's do this. And I'm like so on board to help create this, to make it happen.
Amazing. Thank you guys.
We're so glad you're here.
Yeah.
You keep, as someone who's like, you're here in a different capacity, and I feel like you're helping us stay focused, you know?
Yeah. Because we're the two moms who have like freak out moments.
Well, in some way, because there is like that little bit more of detachment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
in a way similar in some ways. Yeah.
We're a good trio. I was thinking about when you were sharing, DL, how like there are schools that exist in the world that kids love, and there are schools that are, I guess, that currently exist maybe in our neighborhood and other neighborhoods that people that are totally different to what we're creating, but people like some students thrive in those environments and love it, and they want that, and they grow from there, and they have, you know, beautiful, wholesome, you know, big lives, and that's fine. I don't think we're saying like nothing is working,
Yeah.
but we're just recognizing that it doesn't work for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there's more, and we're really excited to create something more for our kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe that the school system this is not gonna be the way schools are gonna be in the next 100, 200 years.
Yeah.
And it is gonna evolve just the way like humans are evolving. We're all evolving, and the school system is going to be evolving. And I feel like this is a cutting edge, and this is incorporating so much more of what's out there in the universe, like as like we're growing in our consciousness, like it needs to reflect back in our schools as well.
Okay. Yeah. I'm excited for it. So curious. Do you guys want to talk to, just by the way, for whoever's on here, you can write a question in the comment or in the question box. We will see them and try to address questions about our school, maybe not all of them. And we're going to try to keep this live short-ish so we can share it around with others. Do you guys want to get into describing a little bit about what the school looks like and our vision? Now, shared our why and how we got here.
Yeah, sure. Should I go first?
Yeah, good for it.
Okay. So what I'm seeing, what we are seeing, is a school where some of our top priorities are that the girls feel deeply valued by every single staff member that they interact with. That is one of our top values, and that the learning that's happening feels relevant to them, be it practically in their lives, spiritually, in how they're going to connect to Hashem, whatever it is, that it should feel like a place where they feel they can relate to what they're learning about, and they can apply it to their lives in a way that feels doable, in a way that where they feel like how they're serving Hashem is valuable. And that, you know, and that how they feel and how they're doing matters to us, and to how things are, you know, structured, and that there's always someone to talk to, that they know that there's an ongoing dialogue with all of us, with whoever they want to be in dialogue with, that, you know, where if something gets difficult, or if they want to understand something better, that there are people to talk to, and that exactly where they are, we're meeting them there. We don't need them to conjure up some sort of persona to impress us, or that they can just be their purest, truest selves in this space. So I'm seeing a space of safety, a space of expression and creativity, and authenticity. That's like my biggest word, authenticity.
Can you say those words again? That was so good.
Okay, I was trying to remember. Space, creativity, expression, and authenticity.
And safety.
I'm sorry, I said safety, yeah.
Love it.
So
I couldn't have said that better.
add on. Well,
Yeah.
I'll add one more thing also. A school environment that feels doable as well. Like, it feels like I can do this. And not spending like the 4 years of high school feeling like you're like on this endless chase of getting through all the work, passing all the tests, you know, keeping up, but rather that like they can feel competent and accomplished in a real way. So yeah, I just wanted to add that too.
Beautiful. And also something, Rifki, you had said before, is that it's innate for our children to want to learn. It's something that's with, and growing and learning is something that's part of them, what they want to do. And when the conditions are right, it comes naturally.
Yes.
So I just want to repeat that. And a school where when the children are feeling there's a I love the word safety, because you really, that's what it really starts with, is when they feel safe. And they feel safe when there's space for them, when they're able to be like fully seen, fully recognized for who they are, in the authenticity, in their creativity, in their full expression. Like, all your words were just perfect. And that will create like a dynamic and an environment where they feel space to like fully show up and be engaged in learning, and have in their creative expression, in their attunement to what's around them. And also just stressing like the whole child, right? So rather than like in a regular school where they're sitting and they're being taught something, they just need to be quiet and listen and repeat back.
Mm-hmm.
This is engaging like the full child, their emotional, spiritual, mental, and all the parts, that to bring the full child online. Because a child is a full child. What they're bringing with them in their morning, like what they're coming with, the things they're struggling with. And they all also really want to make a difference in order for them to feel like purposeful and to feel satisfied and to feel good in the world, to feel empowered. Is they do need to feel like they're contributing in some way, or giving back in some way, or utilizing their strengths or talents to create something. So that's something we want to also create, is looking at how do we, in the way that we do after you're finished school, right? So you have some sort of like career or job or something that you want to do that really nourishes you. So starting that now, like how do we engage in the world in a way that we're using our strengths, we're using our faculties to really make a difference. Like we spoke about, in a way that when you come out into the world, it's like, what's something in this world that's not working for you, or that you're pained by, or that you're almost angry with, right? That's like, and then we want to make a difference in that area. So this is something also within the school, is to really get in touch, like what area in the world do you feel like you want to make a difference, and finding some ways to do that in the bigger world, so that there's some sense of like empowerment and satisfaction.
Yeah. Guys, love. I want to some things came to my mind, and it was a little personal, but hopefully describing like what happened with Vivi and like kind of the trajectory of where she went might help you understand a little bit of my perspective of what I'm hearing from you guys and what we're creating. So as a young child, and I would say this was up around through 4th grade-ish, I don't know how old she was, but whatever, she was extremely, and she still has this, but extremely vivacious and like joy for life and everything she did, even if it was school on an everyday basis. She's like bounced out of the house. She has curly hair and she's just like, I love it, I have friends, I'm excited, I'm learning. And she did well, thank God. She was just happy, and like she knew how to like, you know, learn in class, and she didn't struggle in any, you know, really in any way. And like, whoa, like this is amazing. And then through that slowly declined from 4th to 8th grade. And it's not just the school, it's the age, but a lot of like what she was saying in the school that she was in, she's like, I am so bored. I learned this already. This is so easy. This is not challenging. And this and this and this. And there's a lot of things that like dulled her and dimmed her light. And puberty, I'm sure, and hormones and things and life changes kind of also affect. It's not just school, but I'm just focusing on that area. But she actually said to me a couple months ago, she's like, Mommy, I used to be so happy all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what I said to her, but anyways. And then when she switched to the high school, that like kind of boredom and dullness switched to like massive anxiety and like, I cannot do this. I'm actually so behind, or I'm so not smart enough. I'm not capable. Like, I can't do it. And there was so much no, like, I can't. And it was a lot of like protecting herself from like all the too much and the overwhelm. But I guess the words that I wrote down from like you guys, Rifki specifically at one point, like manageable, like really stuck out for me. Engaged, growth, pushed, and success. Like I think about it, and I thought like there was so much grief in her life and what happened and the schools that she went to. I compared it to the schools that I grew up with in Australia, and I compared it to the vision that I thought she would, like, I imagined she would go to like a very high academic, you know, Jewish school where she'd be like the top of this, and she'd have a chance to go to an amazing, you know, university, and that like that dream like slowly like decreased over the years. I'm like, this is not happening. This is not happening. This is not happening. And specifically in high school, and she's like, I'm so behind. I'm so this. I can't do this. I'm like, she's like, she's never gonna get there, right? And I kind of like really grieved that vision of that sort of school for her. And but I also was like, what am I raising my child to be? Like, am I raising her to not have resilience? And am I raising her to not, push herself? Like, just go to school one more day, push yourself, because the reward and like the way, how good it feels to get through something, to succeed at something in life. I know how important that is, specifically, for sure, something that you love and you care about. So then I realized that, like, obviously this is not for her, because she was just not having it. And no matter how hard I tried, it wasn't working. But in this exploration that we're having and having this conversation, I'm realizing that, like, children, teenagers, our daughters, and the people that are, the girls that are geared for this school, like, they will have the chance to succeed in big, big ways. It might look different to, what they're coming from, or the other schools in their communities, but like, we're not looking for like easy, boring, get through kind of high school. Like, we're so excited. I'm so excited. Like, the biggest days, like the biggest memories of my adult life in the last few years is like when I did something really big, really outside of myself, when I really succeeded. And it's like the best feeling in the world. And I think can give them, on the contrary, even more to like pushing themselves into school that's too challenging. They just fail, give up, or just numb out, or just, I don't know. There's a million coping mechanisms. And I'm really excited. And I'm really hoping for like a school and an environment where these girls are going to have a chance to like blossom in very, very big ways.
I love that.
Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to add to what you were saying that I really have this strong conviction that in an environment where children feel safe and seen, those two things, safe and seen, they will thrive. And if they are not yet thriving, then we want to go back to those principles and just ensure that the safety and the seenness is there. And also to acknowledge that if children have been through school and it's starting to take a toll on them, it's kind of starting to wear down on them, it is normal for them to have a period of time where they kind of just need rest.
Mm.
And as that rest sinks in, and in that rest, they're regaining the safety and being seen, hopefully, by the people in their world, they're able to get up again and re-enter, an environment that does feel safe, and they can thrive again. So I don't know, I just felt like called to share that as you shared that.
I worked with a girl this year who was out of school, and she said the whole year she wasn't in school, and people asked her, like, what were you doing? She said exactly what you're saying. It's like it was a year for her to heal from the trauma of school.
Yeah.
And now she's feeling so much stronger, and there is a lot there.
Mm.
And Chaya, also, and what you were saying, like this idea of like pushing your edge is, and like really feeling like it could really go both ways. It's such a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, if you're like at your edge and pushing it in a way where you're just at your edge, so you're able to push a little, it's so empowering. But when you're at a place where something is so challenging and so difficult, or not working for you, or is not aligned for you, or is not like working with your strengths and your capabilities, it can actually do like the exact opposite. It's like reinforcing over and over how you're not good enough, how you can't do it, how you can't. So it really could work both ways.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Thanks, guys. It's good to hear all the things you're saying. I'm so excited for everybody who's listening, for, if this is what you're needing or interesting you. It just makes me feel so good. So I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah.
Should we see, was there any questions? Does anybody want to ask any questions in the chat? We can answer.
I saw a question earlier on, who is this for? So we didn't actually specify that. This is for girls going into ninth, 10th, and 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who it's for at this time. So, yeah.
Yep.
And it's to be in Crown Heights.
Yes, incredible.
Someone asked the location, and there was another great question. I know this is a difficult question, but this is a big undertaking, and how are we getting funding? Love that question. Yes. If that was you, I forgot who you are. I think it was Sarah B or something. And you're interested in helping us out in that department, please reach out. But actually, seriously, we're going to take that one step at a time. We're really excited. We believe in what this school is and who it's going to serve and how it's going to serve. And I believe we'll get the funding that we need.
Yeah.
And it's important for us to, I guess, along the lines of funding to like really well.
I think you fell out for a second.
Oh, okay. I guess when we're talking about funding, I think it's very important for us to have shared that that it's really important for us to pay our staff really well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Space and to make it like a very, very comfortable, beautiful environment. So we have faith in God and faith in this process, and we'll go from here.
Yeah, something that I thought of to add here is to kind of give clarity that we're not really trying to mimic the typical high school experience in terms of studies and timing and schedules. And in other words, it's not just another high school. We are hoping to create a high school schedule, a learning experience that in the school hours, the girls are, like we said, learning subjects that are relevant and, that they're able to feel involved in and so on and so forth. And also giving them a lot of time and space outside of school to be integrating and connecting to themselves, having the time to just be, because we actually value that they have that time to explore their own things as well, to have time for friendships, to have time for family, to have time for rest. The teenage years are so important to have rest. Yeah. So many of us are kind of like, we're wringing our hands in the air like, my teenager is sleeping so much. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
So we're kind of like just really we want to honor their time in school and their time out of school, that they have that sense of autonomy over their time when they're out of school. Yeah, so if you want to add to that, Dora.
Yeah, I wanted to add because I was speaking to a mom who she was wondering, like, what about girls like after school getting involved in things dangerous or they could hurt, and I was explaining to her that when children there's something called like primary satisfactions, that when people are feeling nourished on a deep soul level, when they're having their needs met, when they're feeling seen, when they're in a space of safety, when they are cultivating their gifts, when they're using their strengths and really like feeling like there's a place for them, there's less likelihood of people needing to go to secondary satisfactions, which are things that just like to numb or to run away or to like all the things that people escape to. So instead of like, there could be like this attempt to try to like fix after the problem, but if you really want to get to like the root of the issue is like, how do we create an environment where children don't need to have those kind of escapes, because within the system, within what's working, it's working for them. They're getting the satisfactions, they're getting the nourishment that they need.
Yes. And we also want to bring that level of support to parents as well, in the terms of supporting parents in being able to relate to their children in that way, being able to cultivate and really, develop that kind of a relationship as well. So.
Yeah, the children really are such a gift, and they have so much for us to learn from, and they offer so much healing to this world, and creating the right environment for them to be able to cultivate that and to bring their gifts into the world is going to be life-changing.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. There's another question if we're going to be accepting girls from out of Crown Heights.
We can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me? Is it
Yeah.
clear? The question was, are we going to accept girls from out of Crown Heights, out of the neighborhood? And my thoughts on that are, I think it really depends on where she lives, how far she's traveling, if it works for the girl and the family, if it works for us. It's not like a specific yes or a no. Like it could work for some people. Maybe they're happy to travel, from an hour away or so, or maybe they, have family that they want to stay by. I mean, we're all open to like, I don't know. I think it just depends on each situation. So yeah.
Yeah. Anyone who's interested, just
Yeah.
reach out to any one of us, and we can have more individual conversations. And
Yeah, we're already receiving so much interest, and people are so excited for this. And this mother I spoke to was like, "This sounds amazing, and I just hope it can actually be implemented in the way that it sounds." And I actually really believe that this is possible. I think that the lives that the three of us live, and really creating lives that matter and that feel nourishing for us, is something that we want to bring now to our children. It's something that I feel sometimes like I'm engaging in things that really nourish me and satisfy me, and I feel so uplifted and alive. And then I recognize that my children are sitting at desks in the beautiful sunny day, and they're like sitting at their desks, and they're not getting the same like that same sense of like aliveness that I'm experiencing all the time. And what I want more than anything is to be able to give that to the children too, and they deserve to have that.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Is this opening for September? Yes.
Yeah. Yes, very much so.
Yeah. So if you or you have children 9th, 10th, or 11th, going to 9th, 10th, 11th grade for next year, you can reach out to any one of us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be happy to speak with you, answer any more questions you have, and we're still looking forward. Thank you everyone for being here and for listening.
Thank
You
you.
guys want to add anything?
Yeah. Continue the conversation. Share this with your friends and reach out if you need anything, like you said. Good night. Thanks,
Good night.
guys.
Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Bye.